That was the sound of someone listening to what I'm about to say while falling into the ocean from a great height. Look, it was the first thing that popped into my head when I was figuring out how to start this talk. Okay? Hello, my fellow hunters, and welcome all to some wild thoughts. And this thought may be not quite as wild as some others, as it's one I'm sure many of you may have had, but I want to explore the maybiness of it, the legitimateness, the likely ability. Likelihood? There's already a whole word for that, but likely ability is much more fun to say. And, well, what am I talking about? I'll give you a clue, I'll give you a hint. This is Monster Hunter Wilds, right here, looking lovely, and then... Oh, yeah, okay, what's happened here? We've had a bit of a flood. Yeah, we'll get back to that, but underwater, or at the very least, water-based themes, monsters, mechanics, interactions. Will any and all of the above return in the 6th generation? Will it finally be time, 3 generations on, from try gracing our presence? I think we could all agree we deeply miss our main Leviathan boy in lagiacrus, and I think there is certainly no mistake or mystery to that over at Capcom. They love him too. They tried very much to put him into World, and that was no accident. He is a flagship. He's awesome, and he does things that no other monster can quite do in the same ways that he does them. He's got badass equipment, and I mean, it's a bloody, electric crocodile lizard. I mean, well, what more do you need? And he just hasn't quite worked. Technical issues, and beyond that, the design of him is supposed to work with water, with him swimming around you, with him having a more 3D space to operate an attack. Yes, you've got land versions, you've got Ivory lagiacrus that was an attempt to, give him a proper earthbound form, but come on, maybe we do something a little bit better. Nobody likes Ivory. Okay, no, Ivory's not bad, but he's not lagiacrus. And I think him getting the full remake treatment in the 6th gen, it's not only possible, it's not only, I would think, likely, it's not only just very wanted by, I would say, most people, it's long overdue at this point. By the time Wilds comes out, it will have been over, 6 years since we've had a game featuring lagiacrus. And we will touch back on him in a little bit, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. While lagiacrus would probably be the most exciting thing to come with a return of underwater shenanigans, of course there's many other Leviathans, and indeed new ones, and beyond that, new whole types of monster and wyvern you could put wateriness to. There really is a lot of potential under the waves that is untapped in Monster Hunter because, well, we've only had Under the Waves to explore in the 1 generation. Obviously, doing things like Coral Highlands with Namiel and aquatic themes, but on land is a great way to kinda have your cake and eat it too, but it's not quite the same. So, is Wilds going to give us that? I mean, on initial impression, you look at it and you're like, okay, they're kind of focusing on desertiness here. I mean, Wilds is in the sort of orangey yellow hue, the text. We're seeing this, arid, Africa-esque wasteland. Well, wasteland's not perhaps fair, but plains-type environment, and it just seems like it's desert's time to shine. World was very much greeny with ancient forest focus, Iceborne Bluey with the snow focus. They seem to have a sort of environment champion in these New World, if it is indeed New World, as we talked about last time, games. So this being the time of the sand and the dust, and, well, this, as you're seeing, makes sense. But that doesn't mean that water is banned. Apart from the fact you can literally see water in it, if we do have this giant Guiding Lands-esque map, you could easily have a watery area to it that's much different from the arid plains we're seeing, but past even that, it's very common for areas of like this in the real world to go through drastic transformations, with monsoon seasons, with rainy seasons, with floods, with extreme weather. The before and after in various dry, arid, deserty, plainy places on the planet is startling. You can have what look to be just dead and desolate transform in such a relatively small amount of time to this luscious oasis of life, and it's really both cool and fascinating that that is a phenomenon. And we could certainly apply that here. Weather certainly is a big factor in Wilds. They have made that clear with the sandstorm and the lightning, but generally lightning comes with rain, right? It comes with a storm behind it, pelting down. So it wouldn't surprise me if we could actually see flooding as a mechanic, parts of the map previously travelable are now underwater, or the reverse, it's now dried up and you can get places. And we can have monsters that interact with that cycle of drought and rain in a way that lets us put Leviathans back in and have sort of underwater light. Maybe you can go in the water, but you're sort of not supposed to hunt there specifically. You can flail around a little bit, but you can get out and use it as like a crossing or a calculated move to go in it for a moment. Maybe you have to go in it to protect yourself from an attack and then go back out on land. But if we give these air quotes underwater monsters a place to be underwater, even if we're not in there with them, we can use the environment to give them a stage to do what they do best in and out of it, and I think that would be really neat. So while I could see just full swimming happening somewhere on the map, I think the idea of a sort of shallower, deeper, in and up type way is a perhaps likelier solution. And thing is, I referenced it at the start, it might already be staring us in the face with how they attempted to do lagiacrus in Monster Hunter World in this technical look. Like, he's literally half submerged, yet the hunter is sort of stood. If you have yourself like waist-high water where you're fighting air quotes normally with your land moveset, whatever that turns out to be in Wilds, but the monster in question has a kind of enough depth to work with, and you can kind of fudge it a little, like burrowing, swimming in the ground monsters that never seem like they should actually be able to be that sunk, but they are while you're stood up, and you know how it is, the Piscine Wyverns have it happen a lot. You let them have extra depth compared to the hunter, and then you can have a much more natural, speedy, bursty, swimmy moveset like they should have to feel normal, but you're not forcing people to be underwater in a sluggishly controlled environment, which was what was so divisive. While I have no doubts they could bring it back, remake it, redo it, and make it feel a lot better to hunt underwater, I think the sort of hybrid style that they were clearly aiming for in this initial glimpse at a 5th gen onwards lagiacrus might well be the way, tied into the weather, the environment, flooding, and rain. And rain is a big deal. We know that rain and weather play a strong part in the themes of Monster Hunter Wilds. The logo itself has rain droplet ripples as if rain's fallen into water. It's part of the motif of the top serpent going north. This top serpent, which we have a very strong reason to believe is connected, depending on the mythology you choose, to rain-based serpent gods that bring, water. We also have then the main Wilds that is quite literally reflected partially as if it is above a lake or a body of water, etc. And then on the left of it, another couple ripples going out. So clearly the implication, even with the little line under Wilds sort of implying the water level, it's like Wilds is sat on a glass smooth lake, and that is the result of it. We've just just a little bit of rain falling down, creating those disturbances. And it's hard to believe that that's sort of accidental, that's just, oh, you know, that looks cool, I guess that'll do. I think while we may not get full underwater, I think water itself, rain, weather cycles, things tied to that, and monsters that play into it, well, that is going to be a thing and a theme, and we're going to see some cool things born of it, even if it might not be literally lagiacrus. But hey, maybe we just actually take inspiration from the spin-off games and fully put in Land Conquest lagiacrus. Give him his full-on Earth incarnation. Let's add Earth element in while we're at it, and job's a good un. We did it! Best of both worlds! Woohoo! But no, I definitely think water is going to be more important than we perhaps realize in Wilds, and how deep, hey, that water goes could have a lot of implications for both the monsters we face and how we face them. I would love to know your thoughts then on all of this and the perhaps second coming of the Leviathans. But for now, like if you've enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more. Consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below. And until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.